Welcome back, everybody. Just helping Starliner practice. Kind of curious to see who's left here as I light this last one. What's up? Well, I might as well keep that nearby. We know we're going to be using that. All right. Let's see. Let me pause that because that's weird. All right. Hello. What's up? What's up, Ed? Haven't seen you in a while. Someone bloody random. Yeah, everybody's up late. Let's see. It's 3:41 in the UK. All right. Oh, Lori, how's it going? Naismith, welcome back, everybody. But if it lands nicely, they could fix it and send it back up to bring them back. Now at this point, since Crew 9 is scheduled to only take 2 astronauts up, it needs to bring them home. And I don't know that. I kind of feel like they are going to want to do an unmanned flight next, I hope. We'll see. What's up, Ed? Thank you for gifting 20 memberships to the Gaggle of Goofballs. Much appreciated as always. What's up, TJ? Multitasking, playing Baldur's Gate 3 with the homies. There you go. I was playing Scum with the Ed homie. After getting a couple things done. I was only on there for maybe an hour and a half, if that. What's up, Fama? C2S. If it goes tits up, do they have an idea where it may end up? Nope. Right now it's supposed to land in White Sands, but if it goes wrong, it could veer a little bit left, a little bit right, and plow somewhere into the United States. It could go high and hit Canada, or it could really fuck up and like go into South America. I mean, it could go literally anywhere depending on what happens if the thrusters like totally fail. What's up, Kevin Artisty? So, we'll see. The NASA feed starts in 6 minutes. Deorbit burn, which is going to be the test burn. That is going to be what tells us what happens, because that's the stressful long burn. That's at 11:17, so in like a half hour. And if it is successful, then it will touch down approximately 12:03 in White Sands, New Mexico. Admiral Rascals, how's it going? Been chopping more peppers for more pepper jelly in the morning. There you go. Oh god, Boeing's screaming metal death. Yeah, that fucking turd. Yeah, if you live anywhere in North America, like, probably want to put a helmet on. Just in case. I've had the screen on for hours, right side still looks like a pig. Well, there you go. Sorry, I got like really thirsty, kind of hungry things, so I made, the hell did I make? Oh, yeah, little tiny, not Lunchables, the dinner thing. They're like that big, I don't know, they're like TV dinners, but you put them in the cabinet thing. I ate one of them. And then, this is one of the breakfast shake ones that has like oatmeal in it as well. So it's like, yeah, okay. Weed brownies? I don't have any weed brownies. God, I don't know when the last time I've had weed brownies is. Last time I had edibles was like 3 hours ago. I got black very, what kind of, there we go. Black cherry vanilla chew, 40 milligrams per serving. Took 2 of those. Oh, they put the sticker right on the front. Well, you can't see it, but this is grapefruit agave. And then just a shitload of cartridges and some flour and some pre-rolls. They seem to be tracking Starliner. Yeah, like so far it's, I guess, going as it should have been. It's just it's all about this deorbit burn. That's going to be the it's going to be the tell, as it were. Like, not that I don't wish ill upon anyone per se, but I really do want there to be some sort of an issue. Not necessarily a burn up in the atmosphere or cause any problems like that, but some sort of another issue, if not just the thruster issue, just to prove that this thing is not safe at all for human spaceflight and that they really need to work out their issues first. The Charliner. Nice one, Dan. The Charliner. But, we'll see. That and they've been having issues with their parachutes, so that'll be another one to see what happens with that. Or it seems like a lot of people have been having problems with parachutes lately. So, I don't know, maybe that's just a thing. Someone bloody random. I'm torn on which side to root for. On one side, I don't want to think that a company would send up a death trap. But on the other hand, it's Boeing, and part of me wants to see success, but again, it's Boeing. Yeah, that's the problem. They kind of almost don't deserve to have any success at this point, just to highlight the fact that they are a shit company. It feels like it's going to land in one piece, but not where it's supposed to. That's a good possibility. I mean, even if the thrusters do malfunction and it goes off course, it still could successfully deploy parachutes and such. Is it Starliner a rejigged 737 Max? Yeah, I think it's got some 770 parts mixed in there too, Monk. Oh my god. Yeah, well, one part earlier, on the earlier stream, one person said it'll probably land, hit, as soon as it hits the ground, the door will pop off. Admiral Rascal says, yes, my cats have a large phaser weapon armed. I think they don't like Boeing. Yeah, just in case. The C2S says if it lands in my yard, I should be able to keep it. And spaceship. Spaceship. We are now waiting for NASA. Let's go ahead and flip over. Do. And yeah, like I said before, if you weren't there earlier or whatever, when they talk fluff and fill, I may speak over. When they talk technical, I will try not to speak over them, at least as much. And I will try to punch the microphone as often as possible. You should have a hunk of a bunch of pork butts in the Starliner on its way through the atmosphere. Starliner pulled pork barbecue. Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's like you just pee on it. As soon as if Starliner lands on your property, you just pee on it. It's yours. That's. I think that's pretty sure that's law everywhere.
Good evening and welcome to NASA's Johnson Space Center and our coverage of Boeing's crew flight test. I'm Brandy Dean with NASA.
And I'm Lauren Brenninkey with Boeing. Starliner safely departed the International Space Station and is on its way back to Earth.
Starliner is making its return autonomously tonight without NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams after a decision to return without crew was made during a flight test readiness review last week. But the team here in Mission Control will be watching over Starliner over the course of the next hour and a half as the spacecraft fires its engines to drop back into Earth's atmosphere and make its way down for a landing in New Mexico at about 11 p.m. Central or midnight Eastern.
The team here
I
is
like
led
that
tonight by
slow.
Flight Director Rick Henfling with weather assistance from Flight Director Mike Lammers. Henfling is just under 7 minutes away from polling the flight controllers here in the room on their readiness for Starliner to perform its deorbit burn at Starliner's landing zone. Teams in Florida, Houston, and New Mexico have been monitoring the spacecraft famously undocked from the International Space Station at 5:04 p.m. time while flying 260 miles over central
Boeing
China.
running the stream?
NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams
Look at all that
National
nerd
Space
stuff on the
Station in
computer.
June as part of NASA's Boeing crew flight test. A United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket from Complex 31.
Oh, come on. Is this
Canaveral
going to be the
Space
whole
Force
fucking
Station in
thing?
Florida.
Because, like, this is it. This is the official
They arrived at the
stream.
International Space Station on June 6th. During that June 6th rendezvous, NASA and Boeing identified helium leaks and experienced issues with the Starliner's reaction control thrusters as the spacecraft approached the space station.
Excitement's like got me amped
Since
up.
then, engineering teams have completed a significant amount of work.
Okay, so the volume's pretty low on it now. All right.
Conducting flight and ground testing, hosting independent reviews with agency propulsion experts, and developing various return contingency plans. Uncertainty and lack of expert concurrence did not meet the agency's safety and performance requirements for human spaceflight, thus prompting NASA's decision to return Boeing Starliner spacecraft to Earth without the astronauts, but Sunny Williams aboard.
I can get one more decibel out of it.
The uncrewed return allows NASA to continue gathering test data on Starliner during its upcoming flight home.
Figure it out, people. It must be Boeing
172 crew and are going to remain at the space station conducting science experiments and helping with maintenance through February 2025. They're going to fly home aboard a Dragon spacecraft with 2 other crew members assigned to the agency's SpaceX Crew 9 mission. That is NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov.
They have to give us the story. We had issues. Send it up anyway. More shoes couldn't get it back.
Between
More
Starliner and the International Space Station. And earlier today at 5:04 p.m. Central, the docking hooks released Starliner, allowing it to separate and begin moving away from the space station and into place for its journey home. You can see that video from earlier today playing here.
Did it close the lid yet? We never saw it close the hatch, did we? I wonder if we get to, did they put any, I wonder if they put any, I guess they put some sort of cameras on it, right?
We saw a beautiful display of Starliner's thrusters there.
This is a screw top. I guess they're fixing their feed. Somebody turn the fiber optic on.
Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams also had some words to say for the teams here on the ground as Starliner was making its way away from the space station.
I'm looking for anything flashing red.
In Houston, space to ground 2 for Starliner undock status.
Go ahead, we're with you.
Hey, Sunny, both the Starliner and ISS flight control teams have pulled go for undock at this time. The expected undock time is 22:04.
You got the big cooler, man. He is fucking ready.
Okay, copy, 22:04. Hey, you know, we're just looking at the flight control roster, and like, wow, it is the all-star team. You guys, it is the time to bring Calypso home. You have got this. We have your backs, and you've got this. Bring her back to Earth. Good luck.
Anyone remember where he parked?
Sunny
Yeah, really,
and Bush, this
Jesus.
is Chloe.
God, I hope he
Just on
didn't
behalf
park in
of
a
the entire
parking
Endless
garage.
team, I know the other flight control teams around the building. We thank you for your endless support over the years. We've enjoyed every training event and every meeting. We remember every setback and every revelation with you. The teams on the ground have worked countless hours over the last few weeks, months, and for a group of us, years to bring Calypso back, and we're ready to do that today. We wish you the best of luck in your increment, and Sunny, I will make sure the right people have your coming home song ready to play on Space to Ground when it's time for you guys to come home. Good luck, and thank you.
You gotta keep the cap attached to the
Wonderful
bottom.
comments, Flight. We
That's great,
appreciate that,
guys.
and we agree. Many years of
EU
great
regulation.
enjoyment, simming together, playing together, and being involved with each other's lives, and it's been special. Bring it home.
They want the evidence to burn up by leaving the door open, says Frank. Not about it. Yeah, that could
Happy,
be it
thank you,
too.
and have a good evening.
Or they just forgot to program that part into it.
That again was a conversation recorded earlier today between astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore talking with the Starliner flight director at the time of undocking, Chloe Meering. Since that undocking, when Starliner and the space station were flying 260 miles above central China, Starliner has been steadily increasing the distance between it and the space station, ensuring that it will be able to get into space into place to perform a 10:17 p.m. Central deorbit burn.
And it won't accidentally destroy them.
Now in about 20 minutes. While it has been moving away, the flight controllers here on the ground took the opportunity to perform a few tests of Starliner's thrusters. During the test, the crew module's 12 small reaction control system thrusters, one of the jets, didn't fire when commanded. The reaction control system thrusters on the crew module are used to steer Starliner as it makes its way back down to Earth after the service module has been jettisoned. Because those 12 jets are divided into two redundant strings of 6, Starliner only uses one string during normal operations. So although this means a slight loss of redundancy, it shouldn't keep Starliner from getting through re-entry and landing as expected.
There's one failure.
Yeah, and Starliner has plenty of redundancy with this part of the prop system on the capsule, so no impact.
We have
to the
one
deorbit
failure
burn
so
or
far.
Re-entry, and it's not required for flight rules. The team also tested 10 of the 28 reaction control system jets in the service module after undocking, and they all performed as expected.
It's no longer a nominal approach.
And here on the ground, the team just gave their go officially to Rick Henfling, today's flight director, meaning that tonight's landing of Starliner is on. That again is scheduled to happen, touchdown at 11 p.m. Central Time or midnight Eastern Time.
Hold on a sec here, folks. Just putting this together real quick for us. I just saw a whole shitload of green. No, hold on. Little rascals. And Brian Antoine, thank you for gifting 20 memberships to the gaggle of goofballs. It's like we're on a roll tonight. Much appreciated, everybody, of course. This will help start building up our stock on getting an engine to build for us as well. So much appreciated, as always. Yeah, let's put this up. All right, known failures so far.
Once again, flight director Rick Henfling has gotten a go from Starliner's for Starliner's deorbit burn from all of the flight controllers watching over the spacecraft's return tonight. And that again means we are officially on for Starliner's return to Earth at about 11 p.m. Central Time or midnight Eastern. The deorbit burn at 10:17 p.m. Central Time is now just 17 minutes away. That'll be a 59-second firing.
Thank you again, Brian.
4 of Starliner's orbital maneuvering and attitude control thrusters
RCS
on Starliner's service module.
failure was expected. Why is this
And
thing
joining
empty?
us live from Starliner's landing zone with White Sands at White Sands Space Harbor in New Mexico, our colleagues Leah Cheshire from NASA Public Affairs and Boeing's Josh Barrett. Leah and Josh, how is it going out there?
C2S saw a documentary where Sandra Bullock saved another ship.
We are out here in White Sands. The weather right now is about 75 degrees and very light winds, approximately 6 miles per hour. This looks like potentially a picture from earlier today. It is quite dark out here at this point. We have a beautiful view of the stars, and we are lined up in the convoy getting ready to roll.
That's right, Leah. So I've been out here for both of Starliner's previous landings. The first one was very cold. The second one was quite warm, and this one feels just about right. We're following along with two command vehicles. We've got the MLCC, or the Mobile Landing Control Center.
Josh?
They're tied in down in Mission Control in Houston with the people that you're seeing on your screen right now.
Well,
we also have the MDTV, that's the Mobile Data and Tracking Vehicle, and on top of that, it's got a suite of optics on top. There's an infrared camera and two visible cameras, one of them with a telescopic focus. So those will be the first things that we'll be seeing Starliner with here from the landing zone, and you should be seeing those on your screens as well. And Leah's got a few more things that she'll talk about that should get some cameras on Starliner as well.
Yeah,
especially Rascals says that
NASA's plane that took off just a few hours ago.
See if it lands outside of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Vegas. Fucking like Pawn Stars. Well, let me see what I can do for you.
Since then, have been getting ready, lining up, doing communications checks between the various teams, and just getting ready to eventually drive out to the landing site once Starliner comes down. So it is a sea of white gypsum sand.
Hey, Jimmy, appreciate that.
And teams
always
are
appreciate
continuing to just prepare as soon as we get into that deorbit burn. So they are actually in a
all donations
right now,
and memberships go straight back into the channel.
Getting ready to come and join us here in the
for our
convoy as
Legos
we
and
await to see the deorbit burn.
Stuff. We have stuff.
So with that, right now, we are going to turn it back over to you, Brandy and Lauren. We are going to stick around, though, and cannot wait to see Starliner coming straight across the sky.
Hey, what's up, Jonathan Hughes? How's it going, dude? I got your package behind me.
Thanks so much, Leah and Josh. We're hoping to get some good views from where you guys are at later today.
Cheers, everybody, by the way. Everybody's hanging out.
Once we make that final burn to get out of orbit today, it'll take about 45 minutes for Starliner to reach its destination.
What's going on, Jackson?
Again, White
yeah, man, I heard all about you, dude.
Where we just spoke with our colleagues from. Starliner
Come and hanging out with some nerds.
With its solar arrays pointed toward the sun, recharging the internal batteries to keep its systems powered through landing.
It's good to see you, buddy.
The orbital maneuvering and additive control thrusters, or what we call OMACs, will fire for about a minute to conduct the deorbit burn. That maneuver slows the spacecraft down from orbital velocities and allows it to start falling back to Earth in a head-down position. At the end of that deorbit burn, Starliner angles itself for re-entry.
Whose package
the deorbit burn is just the first of a series of milestones we're going to be taking off tonight. To give you the full rundown, deorbit burn is scheduled for 10:17 p.m. Central. As we said, we just got the go for that a few minutes ago. It's going to be followed by the separation of the crew module from the service module at 10:20 p.m. and the crew module will then continue on its own. At 10:45 p.m.,
Geeks and Nerds. Geeks and Nerds.
Effects of the Earth's atmosphere.
Remember, geeks will tell you how to fix your settings. A nerd will tell you why the fucking CAN bus crashed.
The heat from Starliner's reentry will become so intense that plasma will begin to form around the spacecraft, causing a blackout in communications with Starliner for about 4.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Once Starliner clears that blackout period, things will begin to happen very quickly.
Yeah, so then up next at 10:56, when Starliner is about 4.3 miles above Earth, the spacecraft will be done with the forward heat shield that is at the top of the capsule that helped protect it through re-entry, and it will jettison it to make way for the parachutes that are stored underneath. And then almost immediately, those parachutes will begin to deploy. First with two smaller drogue parachutes that are meant to take the edge off Starliner's speed. They open up in stages over the course of about 28 seconds. And then at 10:57 p.m., when Starliner is about 6 miles up, the drogue parachutes are released and 3 main parachutes are deployed. They also open in stages over about 16 seconds, but they stay with the spacecraft all the way until touchdown. And again, we are expecting that touchdown to come at 11 p.m. Central.
Blockbuster, if
Just
it knocks the
before
Eiffel
touchdown,
Tower
however,
over,
at
that would be
10:58 p.m., Starliner also sheds its
magnifique.
base heat shield at the bottom of the capsule to make way for the inflation of 6 landing airbags hidden underneath it, and those will cushion the vehicle as it lands in New Mexico's desert.
I would hope that NASA would have enough of its own in-house experts that it wouldn't have to resort to an actress to
that we do not have video from Starliner. If you think back to June on its ascent and journey to the International Space Station, it's not able to send video down when it's not connected to the space station, so we won't be getting in-flight views from it, but we do have several cameras out at the landing site as well as some aircraft in the area that we're hoping to get some views from.
But we don't know what those are.
It's going to be pretty dark out in the desert at night, so
we forgot to plug them in.
May be infrared or black and white views, but hopefully we'll get some good camera views to show you.
Great. Well, I guess we'll see what they got for us.
And we're taking a live look now from the landing site, but the shot is quite dark at the moment. You can see just a few lights blinking there. Hopefully, as we get closer to the ground, as Starliner gets closer down, we will have some better shots.
Yeah, July and August are usually pretty bad in Maryland there, Jonathan. We're expecting a mystery heat wave that we usually have, one that comes out of nowhere in like mid to late September. That we'll see. I mean, we've had Halloweens that we've trick-or-treated in the snow, and we've had Halloweens where it was fucking 90 degrees out. It's kind of the weather here is dumb. As long as we can see this screen, because if we can see this, we can look right there. If you can see where the mouse is moving, I'm wiggle, 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 wiggle. Because that's a pretty good trajectory representation. So if that fucking, all the lines start like spinning like a fucking porcupine on crack, then we know it's going as expected. So as long as they accidentally show us this screen every once in a while, we can see what's going on. That or just look for red. Anything red. Like, there's a little red thing right there. I don't know. Maybe that's okay.
The landing and recovery teams have been out in the desert preparing for the spacecraft's return for several days. I've been speaking with them to catch up on some of the preps that have been taking place. They ran through a full mission dress rehearsal where they practiced the landing and recovery operation with all the different groups and functions. And they've also been keeping a close eye on the wind direction to establish the best recovery zone out at White Sands.
It's dark, so you can't see our shame.
Weather balloons to check the wind speeds.
Tracking vehicles out there are equipped with cameras, so the team has been calibrating those. And again, although we don't expect any views from Starliner on its way down, we're hoping to get some good ones from those tracking cameras as well as aircraft in the area. We plan to have the W357 getting views while it is about 16,000 feet above the ground until the drogue parachutes deploy. And then at about 6,000 feet, we hope to see views from a Cessna in the area.
Can now also see my cursor moving around the control center. No, you gotta hold control so that they can see it.
Makes its way out to the landing site, White Sands Space Harbor in New Mexico.
How come my stream is 9 minutes late?
And this is a shot from one of the ground cameras that we have on site. So again, although it is dark there, we are hoping to see some good views.
In the last few hours, the teams there on the ground have been at the holding area loading up their vehicles, doing last-minute checks, making sure all the equipment is ready to go, and then shortly they'll begin moving into place to watch Starliner make its final approach. And then once Starliner lands, teams will move closer in a very strategic way. They will first stop at about the 500-foot mark away from the spacecraft, and then they'll move in closer to the 150-foot mark while ground teams safe the vehicle.
Nice. Do we think NASA is hoping for the crash and burn or a successful landing?
Starliner will be what we call the gold team.
I think NASA is hoping for a successful.
Performing what's called a sniff test, where they use sensors to check for hydrazine, one of the propellants that Starliner uses. They'll be wearing protective gear.
I'm hoping for issues, but safe enough landing.
Hypergolic propellants. Hydrazine is used as propellant, and if it turns into a vapor, it can be toxic. After the sniff test, they will notify the rest of the convoy when it's safe to approach, and then they're going to check the winds, make sure the entire landing and recovery team is staged uprange from the direction the wind is blowing for added protection.
Well, everyone out there is part of a different color team, and they wear a vest with that color, so it's very obvious
YouTube's
who does
captains are really
what.
embarrassing.
So the
Yeah,
next step is
they're
the silver
kind
team,
of
and their
weak.
first job is to ground the spacecraft. Starliner will be powered down, but there could be some residual electricity. So before anyone can touch it, they will ground it and discharge it.
They're going to put it on some carpet and shuffle up to it.
Teams are on the ground reporting that everything is getting into good
rub a cat on it.
for the deorbit burn. That's now just about 6.5 minutes away.
God, look at all those targets.
Going on with what we were saying, we also will have the blue team that documents everything that's going on.
I wonder if Gray Zone is going to look like this.
These are photographers from both Boeing and NASA who have situational awareness cameras. And again, here's a current view of those teams all ready to deploy at landing.
Yeah, that's the holding site that we were mentioning.
I don't see
of course,
any
you can see the mountains there in the background.
I hope they're having coffee. Coffee is good.
The green team hooks up the HVAC trailers
I would
to
like
Starliner
to have
to
coffee,
get cooling
but I'm not
on
going
it.
to have
But their
coffee.
first job is to put up an environmental enclosure on the spacecraft, and that enclosure looks a lot like a big inflatable. It wraps around the vehicle to get cool air around it and make sure the critical systems don't overheat.
Mind some toast, but I'm out of bread.
Then the red team opens the hatch. That is mostly
we go to the
Boeing
dollar
Fire
store
and
tomorrow.
Rescue. They will back up the mobile access platform to Starliner's hatch, giving the team access.
Oh, okay.
And Starliner will be bringing back more than 900 pounds of cargo, including a nitrogen-oxygen recharge system, or what we call Norris tank, that NASA will service and refill for future space station needs. The teams will unload that cargo before Starliner heads back to Florida.
White hot. Okay, I have that.
Just over 5 minutes to go now until tonight's 10:17 p.m. Central Time deorbit burn. Team here on the ground reports that Starliner has gotten into the right attitude, kind of the right way it's pointing for that burn. So everything is looking good. We're on track for
they ain't showing nothing different anyway.
11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern.
Oh, spilling it. I'll pop a couple of these off while they're just showing nothing. I kind of like that one. I guess they got nothing to talk about.
With just a couple minutes or 4 minutes left to go until the deorbit burn, we're going to check in once again with the landing team and Leah Cheshire and Josh Barrett.
Thanks, Brandy. Yeah, we are out here just waiting in the convoy area. Now, most of the team is taking part in a safety briefing right now as we prepare to watch the deorbit burn and re-entry and then move in toward the spacecraft. Like you mentioned, it's really dark out here. Josh and I were just able to take in the really beautiful sight of the Milky Way. It's so dark. So once the capsule starts to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, we expect to have a pretty good view of the streak as that plasma builds up around the capsule itself.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We should be seeing it come just over the southwest horizon, right through the saddle of kind of the mountains that are just overlooking the mountain range here. And remembering back to OFT1, kind of the view that we should be having here is that we'll hear the sonic booms as well after we see kind of that plasma envelope. And then pretty quickly afterward, it is pretty remarkable how quickly it does end up over our heads. We'll see the flashes from the mortars, which deploy those forward heat shield parachutes, which take the forward heat shield off. Then we start hearing those mortars, and then the parachutes start to deploy. And then it's kind of slow motion from there as it drifts down.
And we're seeing a lot of movement as teams have just completed that safety briefing here. So they're now all walking to join us at the convoy. So it looks like we are just a few minutes away from the deorbit burn, and the show is really getting on the road soon. So with that, we're going to turn it back over to you in Houston.
What do you think, Ed? 150 meters right there?
We are Just over 2 minutes away from the deorbit burn. At this point, Starliner has moved well away from the International Space Station and quite a few kilometers ahead of it as well. We had a number of smaller burns to ensure that Starliner was at a safe distance away from the space station before it performs the deorbit burn that will bring it out of orbit and on its journey back to Earth.
2,000
Flight
meters?
Director Rick
Or
Henfling and
200?
his team expect Starliner's
maybe.
orbital maneuvering attitude control thrusters,
well within reach of a
also
Mark
called
18.
OMAX, to fire around 10:17.
That's a lot of dudes, though. That's like Tiger Bay fucking style right there. Jesus
and onto
Christ.
its journey home. This deorbit burn will set us up for a touchdown time of about 11 p.m. Central.
See you later,
10 p.m.
Jackson.
Mountain Daylight Time.
We'll be here for a little while.
New Mexico.
All the excitement's supposed to start in a few minutes.
Once it's there, control teams in Houston will begin powering off Starliner's radiators and solar arrays as the spacecraft now has enough power to get home, and sublimators will be taking over cooling. They use water to cool the cabin. Starliner is also, as we said, now in the correct attitude for performing the deorbit burn, and at this point, the service module and crew capsule are still attached to each other.
Max lives in
service
Albuquerque.
module's 12 aft-facing orbital maneuvering and attitude control engines are going to be powering the deorbit burn, allowing them to separate safely.
And those
Probably
engines
driven
are
out
each
there to watch this
1,500-pound thrusters,
That's
meaning
cool.
this burn will take about 6,000 pounds of thrust, slowing Starliner from its current orbital velocity and bringing it back to Earth's atmosphere for a smooth landing. The small reaction control system, or RCS
like Jet
thrusters,
Propulsion Laboratories.
assist
They do
here in
good
holding
work.
Starliner in the correct attitude. During this test flight, our teams ran roughly 1 million computer model simulations showing all the different thruster combinations possible for a safe return to Earth today.
Just 20 seconds now until the burn starts. It'll last 59 seconds. And again, you be firing those orbital maneuvering and attitude control thrusters.
Text. What's going on?
Four orbital maneuvering and attitude control thrusters on Starliner's service module are now firing, slowing Starliner down as the capsule begins its journey back to Earth. This will take about 59 seconds to complete. We're hearing all thrusters firing well so far.
Oh,
you can see here those representation of those thrusters firing. Starliner's maintaining its attitude, and as those large orbital maneuvering thrusters are firing, smaller reaction control system thrusters are also working, keeping the spacecraft in the correct position for the burn.
There we go. Hold on to your tits. Do you know where this is? If all is successful, well, if you look on the bottom there, it's just south of Australia, and if it is successful, it will eventually land in New Mexico, White Sands, New Mexico, around just after midnight. Okay.
And we did see the deorbit burn cut off successfully. Teams here on the ground reporting a good burn. Starliner is now on its way to White Sands Space Harbor in New Mexico, and a planned touchdown at about 11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern Time.
All right. So the burn was successful. Okay. So as long as nothing glitches out and fires up, I guess we'll see what happens in about 40-ish minutes. Oh. You can get medication for fire in the hole there, Fama.
Next up on the to-do list for tonight is the separation of the service module. With the service module's job done, it'll be disposed of over the Pacific Ocean, leaving the uncrewed crew module to carry on alone. In addition to all its other jobs, the service module has spent the flight protecting the crew module's heat shield. Jettisoning it uncovers that critical piece of equipment, allowing it to shelter the spacecraft as it begins traveling back through the Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah, when does that happen?
The crew module will then make its final attitude adjustments to make sure the heat shield is at exactly the right angle to provide that protection. And those fine-tuned adjustments are really just a strong capability of Starliner's guidance, navigation, and control system. In fact, on the two previous flights, Starliner
Boeing just relaxed their assholes. Is someone bloody random? Yes. Yes.
Starliner's maneuvering into position for that jettison this time.
Don't know what red meant. Maybe that was, it meant it was, because some of the axes are represented by different colors. It may have been that was firing for that particular axis. Because they had what, green, red, and yellow. So it may have been the red axis firing and green axis firing. I do believe that's how it's set up. There may have been yellow ones as well then. But I don't know which ones the yellows are.
That Starliner's in a good attitude, pointing the right direction for the service module separation.
And the service module has just jettisoned, separated, and is now falling away. It will burn up during reentry over a remote part of the Pacific Ocean. And Starliner will continue on its path to New Mexico, where the landing and recovery team is waiting for touchdown.
Okay.
Starliner is now enabling itself and its heat shield for reentry.
Kerbal looks cooler.
Entry interface is coming up in just about 10 minutes. Graphics. That's the hottest part of the reentry process, with Starliner's heat shield reaching about 3,000 degrees. To protect Starliner from those heat loads, the spacecraft has what's called an ablative heat shield. The outer surface of that shield heats up to a gas, which then carries the heat away from the crew module through convection. And our team calls this process a game of threes because during entry interface, the heat shield will handle those temperatures of about 3,000 degrees, but it will convert that heat to about 300 degrees with only 3 inches of ablator.
Oh, I have an English.
And because of this protection during this hottest part of reentry, the inside of the spacecraft remains at about room temperature.
I have to get those out of the freezer.
When Starliner returned from its last 2 flights, the capsules landed with 2 black stripes up the sides, indicating the heat shield was ablated as intended. So we do expect to see that again today, and the team considers that
possibly subsonic. Yes, they just completed the burn, and it went successfully. So now we wait to see how it does once it starts getting closer to the atmosphere. They think touchdown's around midnight, which would put it hitting the atmosphere at what, 11:47 to 11:50, because it's usually about 7 minutes through the atmosphere and what, 3 to 5 minutes from touchdown. So we got what, 20-25 minutes to make sure it holds its position and doesn't fuck up, and let's see what happens. I guess they closed the lid. I do have pancake batter, yes. So I can always, like, make custom, quote, bread. They were like, oh shit. Yeah, that's whoop. Like when SpaceX's 1062 booster fell over, it was like, cut to the next scene. Yeah, we don't know what that was. Oopsie. I'd be interested to see what they came up with, but it definitely hit the deck going about twice as fast as it normally goes. I think it just slammed the shit out of one of the landing legs, and it looked like the engines actually bounced off the deck when it landed. I'm wondering if the suicide burn was a little too tight that time. So I guess they're not going to talk. Okay, that's cool. We can bullshit for like 20 minutes. It's kind of what we do anyway. What happened meanwhile with the flames on fucking, like, the control center catches on fire? What the hell? See, I'm guessing that the yellow is the direction it's going, and that the red, green, blue, and such represent various axes.
Once again, we did see Starliner deorbit or perform its deorbit burn on time at 10:17 p.m. Central Time, and then quickly turned around and jettisoned its surface module now that it has performed its duty over the course of the mission. We are still about 20 minutes away from entry interface, but things will start to happen quickly after that. About 4 minutes after we go into the entry interface, the heat from Starliner's re-entry will become so intense that the plasma will begin to form around the spacecraft, causing a blackout in communications with Starliner for about 4.5 minutes. And after that, we'll see Starliner jettison its forward heat shield that's been protecting the parachutes during re-entry. Then, when Starliner is around 30,000 feet above the ground, the spacecraft's parachute sequence will begin. Two drogue parachutes, rather, will start slowing Starliner down, and then they'll detach, and 3 main parachutes will deploy on the plate. At about 3,000 feet off the ground, the base heat shield jettisons, exposing the airbags, and then at touchdown, those airbags absorb the initial force of landing, cushioning the spacecraft for a soft, safe return to Earth.
4.5 minutes. Like most of your communication blackout is 6 to 7 in the plasma, so they're bringing this fucker in like pretty hot. If we're only going to be in it for 4.5. Good lord. All right. Well, they're putting it through its paces at least. Guess we'll see. Have you tried making cowboy candy? That's right. Lockwatcher makes that too. You can get about 2 years out of 1 pepper plant. Oh yeah, I gotta. Did somebody send me? Somebody sent me stuff. Like I know Fama sent me stuff and has more stuff on the way. That's Jonathan Hughes. Those two are Fama. And then there's 2 other packages that I'm not sure where they came from. One
Currently,
of them
Starliner's about 213 miles
is
above
another
the
Amazon
South
package.
Pacific Ocean. It's just past the southernmost portion of this final orbit, coming around the southern coast of Australia, and now it's going to begin making its way northward towards the west coast of the United States for that landing at 11 p.m. Central Time, midnight Eastern Time at White Sands Space Harbor in New Mexico. Again, we've had the deorbit burn that took place just as planned at 10:17, a 59-second burn that changed the
2 years out of 1 pepper
Starliner
plant.
speed by about 290 miles per hour, 130 meters per second. That made way for the service module separation, and the next milestone we'll be watching for is the entry interface coming up around 10:45.
It's Amazon. It's probably
still about 10 minutes away.
Guess we'll find out tomorrow. There, Fama. That'll work. Yeah, and tomorrow will be my normal 5:33 time, obviously, since Clive will be doing his thing. And I'll be on Twitch. Yeah, I'll be over in Clive's Twitch chat. You know, as usual, I'll be sitting in front of all this mess. Last statement from broadcast. Dang, well, that really sucked. What was the last thing you heard before they cut the feed? Did you hear something weird? All right. Yeah, I really got to go to the dollar store tomorrow. So I got to get snacks
you hear
too.
Of the recovery forces staged near the landing site, ready to move in once Starliner touches down.
I'm feeling like that's
we are taking off milestones as expected for that 11 p.m. Central.
That's about a
midnight field. Eastern or 10 p.m. Mountain Time touchdown today in New Mexico.
Again, Starliner performed its deorbit burn about 12 minutes ago. The thrusters performed nominally, and the flight home is going smooth.
All right. Well, except for one RCS failure. Let's not forget that. We are keeping track. Down over there. Had one RCS failure. They have a redundant one. Because, well, I mean, you should have redundant ones. Space is hard, as Elon said. He's kind of a... But he knows how to get shit done. Even though his personal life is just like, what the fuck? But anyway. Should have said I save the seed from every year. Oh, and regrow them. Oh, okay. Because when I was growing pot, I would just clone it. Like I grew off the same. Well, actually, I don't even know where it ended up because I started off at the very beginning with 8 seeds and then ended up just cloning off of that for what, 4 years. So I don't even know which strains because I didn't just. It was just like whatever the best ones were. I just kept, picking the best plants. Did you grow autoflower? No, I did not grow autoflower. I did, my very first one I was autoflower,
We're still about 14 minutes away from the entry interface, which is our next milestone.
Okay.
I think I said earlier that we were 10 minutes away. That was a mistake. But about 14 minutes from now, we'll be experiencing the atmosphere for the first time since Starliner launched. And since we do have a little time, we're going to check back in with the landing team. Lee and Josh, how are things going out there?
Oh, it does work, Jonathan. Okay, you can clone them. Yeah, I have a little cloning rig downstairs or upstairs.
Landing convoy all lined up. I was just watching some of the gold team members getting suited up. As you mentioned earlier, that's going to be the first team to come in and inspect the vehicle. They're sniffing for those hypergalls or any of those dangerous fumes before the rest of the teams get the go to move in and approach the capsule. Of course, it's kind of a waiting game right now as we are still waiting to spot Starliner coming from the southwest. So a lot of us are outside of the convoy right now and keeping our eyes on the skies.
Yeah, that's right. We've got about just under probably 3 dozen vehicles all lined up in 3 rows, just waiting to get that touchdown signal. Again, going through that convoy list that you guys went through already so well, behind that gold team after Starliner is declared safe, the silver team moves in and
I can't quite get with that kind of a beard.
They'll also stabilize the vehicle just in case the airbags start deflating. You make sure that the hatch has a good, stable orientation.
Probably have a Starliner duplicate hanging from a jet just out of view.
And once the red team establishes hatch access, actually the silver team has a fun job tonight in the dark. They're going to go start looking for the pieces that came off of Starliner, those heat shields, some of those lids from those parachute motors. And then after that, after red team has hatch access and opens up the hatch, NASA's ISS program folks are going to come in for the cargo inspection.
So again, we are expecting to start seeing Starliner coming across the horizon around the time that entry interface begins. But until then, just wanted to give you guys a hit from the landing site and the latest that we have going on here. So we'll toss it back over to you in Mission Control, Houston.
Team 3 shovels and bags. Yes.
Thanks so much, Leah and Josh. We are watching for that entry interface as well. We're now about 12 minutes away.
Level 3 tech support, shovels and bags.
Starliner continuing to make good progress following in that 10:17 p.m. Central Time deorbit burn.
Problem is they forget to tell the staff it was coming.
Again, we're looking at the landing and recovery team set up at the holding zone.
Alpop's 2 lookalikes.
They're at White Sands.
We forgot to tell them to go home.
Josh and Leah are embedded with that convoy, and they will make a very strategic move toward the spacecraft after touchdown. First stopping at about the 500-foot mark, and then they'll get the go to move forward to the 150-foot mark, and then once the vehicle is considered safe, they will move in.
As long as it has its attitude corrected, you don't want it to be all pissy when it lands. Oh, it's so hot. Oh, my back hurts. Well, one of the airbags isn't very comfortable. It's like, oh my God, just give it some time. It'll shut up. Oh, nice. Here comes the screaming metal death trap. The blob. Oh, God, yeah. Jesus. Everybody's chilling. Fucking like smoking a joint.
Complete, and the service module separated. The spacecraft's heat shield is now exposed and ready to begin experiencing the atmosphere again. The Starliner is going to make some final attitude adjustments that keep that heat shield pointing
all the butts
exactly the right angle.
And next up after that is entry interface. Again,
Is
just
it
coming
a
up in a
death
few
roll?
minutes. At 400,000 feet above Earth, Starliner faces temperatures of 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit from the plasma created by air friction around the spacecraft. But Starliner can handle that heat with its heat shield, which is made of an ablative material designed to keep the inside of the spacecraft at about 70 degrees.
Yeah, we watched SpaceX do
A few
it
minutes
all
later,
today
Starliner will
long.
experience an
Thanks.
expected blackout in communications, and that will last for about 4.5 minutes. At 30,000 feet and just 11 minutes before landing, Starliner jettisons its forward heat shield, exposing the spacecraft's parachute system.
Incineration
Then
phase,
2 drogue chutes
yes.
will deploy, increasing drag and significantly slowing down Starliner. Then 3 pilot
She
parachutes will
likes
pull
to
out
read
the main
copy
chutes,
paste,
allowing the
copy
spacecraft to
paste.
continue its slow and steady descent for another 8,000 feet towards the landing zone.
And once the main parachutes are fully inflated, Starliner's bucket handle releases. And what that does is it just basically levels out the spacecraft ahead of touchdown.
Because they don't know how to do
and
the
then the base heat
parachutes right.
shield that protected Starliner through reentry will separate at about 3,000 feet, uncovering the landing airbags. Those airbags, of course, will fill with nitrogen, allowing for Starliner to land softly and safely there in the sand.
Less than 10 minutes to go now before we do get to that entry interface point, and now just 24.5 minutes away from the landing at White Sands Space Harbor.
20 fucking
Everything's
minutes
pretty quiet
away.
in the room, which is a good sign. Things are continuing to go smoothly as Starliner begins making its way back to
asking them, "Hey, is anybody in there?" Oh, you guys were serious when you said we were leaving them up there? Well, who's gonna deploy the parachutes? Shit.
You're taking a look there at Flight Directors Rick Henfling on the left, speaking with Mike Lammers on the right. Rick is the flight director for this landing operation. Mike is weather flight director. They are tag teaming this operation.
Team has been keeping a close eye on weather at the landing site, but everything looks pretty good for tonight's touchdown.
I love that ship, right?
Yeah, about 79 degrees Fahrenheit out there. They reported 10 miles of visibility. The winds are within the limits, so we are looking good for a touchdown. Coming up right about 11 o'clock p.m. Central Time.
Smaller. Oh, yeah, there it is. There we go. Now we can be a little more concise. Let's just do this. Oh, it already updated over there. Why did it do that? Ah, cool. Did you actually watch me type that all out? Wonder how many are short-selling Boeing stock. Go, just get it.
That intense heating will start about 2 minutes after we
doing that
do
weird
begin the
thing
interface.
again with the fucking color.
That'll last
What
about 4.5 minutes, during which time we'll be in a blackout. Starliner is currently about 130 miles, 149 miles rather, above the Pacific Ocean, heading northward towards the western coast of the United States, and it's touchdown in New Mexico.
Why keep that acting weird like that? Keep messing with it. Sorry. All right. Cat on keyboard. Yeah, that will happen. The Boeing 770 MAX has been seen flying within the drop zone. Oh, I'm sure.
We're taking a look here at the landing trajectory. There on the left of your screen, you can see that line that crosses over the Baja Peninsula, and that is the track Starliner will take as it makes its way into New Mexico. As it gets closer to the ground, people living in the area might get a bright shot of Starliner coming back through the atmosphere and landing there in White Sands, New Mexico.
You can also see there in the center of the screen the to-do list, basically, before we do get to landing. The service module separation's highlighted in green because that one's already taken place. And next up is the entry interface, about 5 minutes away from now.
I do like they call it touchdown rather than a controlled drop. Yeah. Yeah, I like how Boeing forgot to put cameras on
are reporting good attitude for that entry interface coming up again in just under 5 minutes.
Wonderful. Let's see, it'll be after 4.5 minutes. So we'll be about 11:50-ish. We'll get to see if it survived, which if it got this far. I know at one point they were having some heat shield issues, but apparently that got sorted. So, guess if the thruster, if it's, guess as long as it can hold itself steady through the burn, then we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a little warm though. I don't know how much it's going to need to use the thrusters while it's re-entering, but it's going to be a little, well, actually at that point, it's just going to be the RCS that are in the module itself, of one of which has already failed. They forgot to buy the in-flight Wi-Fi to stream the cameras back. Oh, God, it's a subscription service. Jeez, it's always a microtransaction somewhere. Trail of Plasma, says Electron Box. Yeah, I actually watched the video of when Starship, when IFT-4, the last Starship came in, and as the Starship was coming back in, you could actually watch the Plasma live, because Starship knows how to fucking install cameras. So we got to see that shit happen live for the first time. Then you got to watch the fin, as Elon said, they were hoping the Plasma wouldn't get into the control fin, but it did. And it still worked, even though, it was fucking shredded. Meanwhile, Boeing can't get some shit to work, or they line everything in the module with flammable electrical tape. Where the fuck did you get flammable electrical tape? Just get goddamn 3M Super 88. You'll be fine. Jesus Christ. Flammable electrical tape? Get the hell out of here. Stop going to the lowest bidders, you dumbasses. God. Jonathan Hughes, it takes time breeding chilies and making a good
2.5 minutes
recipe.
Left before Starliner begins to feel the effects of the Earth's atmosphere again. Everything continuing to go smoothly. Flight controllers here in the room
have
are
a place
quiet
where I
as
can
they're
grow
working
more
through
and
their
sell
steps, but all
Yeah.
Going well so far. Starliner is in position to begin experiencing that heat from re-entry. Now less than 100 miles above the Earth and heading towards the Baja Peninsula. We'll be flying over that before landing in New Mexico.
Cats are going nuts right now.
Just 17 minutes to go until landing.
I like Super 33, Super 66. I don't use Super 88 much, but I usually have 33 or 66 around somewhere. I know I got 2 rolls sitting in the living room because, where else do you keep electrical tape? See, this one is spinning. This is 33. So that's Super 33. Electrical tape. It's really nice. It's soft. It's, soft and stretchy, but not wimpy stretchy. It's not that hard vinyl-y, I guess it is, fucking tape you get that just sucks. And it holds, it doesn't really melt much. It's really good stuff. The difference between 3366 and 88 is basically just temperature
until
ranges.
We begin entry interface.
I tend to get 33.
Again, about 2 minutes after entry interface starts.
Or 66, because 88's a little overkill.
Really get intense.
88's just a little stiffer.
Blackout.
Alright, so that's going to begin the burn. End up landing on top of the helicopter. How much of that $6.7 billion went into that trailer, boss? Black Project Super 33 is great. Hell yeah. Everything is going well at the moment. No, huh? 88 would be too heavy for space, actually, probably. Can you just go to the dollar store?
Team here in the ground reporting entry interface has begun. They're seeing good range.
Oh yeah, I keep the tubs. Do I have that one's tub? I got the two ones I have over there are in the tubs in the living room.
Seeing another view from the landing site, or the teams getting ready to move out to the landing site here. A little better idea from this view of exactly how dark it is out there with all the lights of the vehicle shining.
Yeah, I keep the tubs. Those are awesome. They're pretty adorable, especially at work.
A minute and a half
nuts
until
and
we
bolts
move into
and
the
shit.
blackout period for Starliner.
Nice lid. Better than a magnetic tray for small hardware.
14 and a half minutes until we land in White Sands, New Mexico.
Someone wait the dang. Yeah, it's really. I think that's just
the Starliner
blasting the
NVGs.
NVGs.
17 times the speed of sound, which could create a sonic boom for folks living in the area. It will then be slowed down by parachutes to a speed very similar to what you might experience while going down an elevator inside a high-rise building.
Or falling out of a Boeing airplane.
A safe, comfortable stop.
Oh, well, the dab rig's warmed up. I guess while that's burning, I might as well get to burning. What's left in here? Is there any hash left in here? Nope. Alright, everybody, grab a shot, grab a drink, get ready, give me a minute here. We'll do a toast to nobody getting
30
hurt
seconds now until the blackout period begin. Due to the compression of friction
it hasn't even started.
And friction of the air, the molecules generate a very hot plasma that causes the red-orange glow you often see appear in post-flight imagery on many spacecraft. Although we won't get to see that tonight, it will happen. Causes an expected communication dropout. This one will last 4.5 minutes as the vehicle
video a couple months ago.
Goes through a time when plasma interferes with a satellite signal. We expect that to blackout to end around 10:52 p.m. Central.
This is also the time that I mentioned earlier where a Starliner in the past 2 flights has gotten that black mark along the sides of it. And that just really proves to our team that the ablative heat shield or the ablative material around Starliner is doing its job. And
as soon as it's burning, we're burning.
Plasma away.
It's blackout time again. Lasts about 4.5 minutes. We've got about 3.5 left of it. After that,
let's burn. Let's burn. I gotta. As soon as this thing hits green, we burn.
Forward heat shield jettison at 10:56 when Starliner is about 4.3 miles above the Earth. Very soon after that, almost immediately, drogue chutes deploy. Those give a little bit of an initial slowdown to the vehicle before the really large main parachutes deploy. That happens when the Starliner is about 2.5 miles above the Earth.
Yeah, toast to the Jupiter 2. That's cool. Toast to everybody that's hanging out, chilling this late evening. Why does everything sound weird? Hold on. Oh, yeah, hold on. Now I gotta reset everything. It's the Chattanooga Choo Choo. Chattanooga Choo Choo. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear that. Like, was the microphone all fuzzy and crackly for a little bit there? I just reset the. I don't know if it was the interference from this bloody thing or or if the mixer just got a little confuzzled. Ugh. Toast to the Mercury capsule that pioneered all the technology used tonight. Hey, is they tracking? Oh yeah, there it is. That's still in one piece. Cheers to space exploration
from the International Space Station, where we're able to get a view of Starliner's track as it comes in. We are now less than 10 minutes away from landing at the White Sands Space Harbor, scheduled for 11 p.m. Central. We're also getting reports that the WB-57 is also able to see Starliner now as it begins coming in for its landing. We've still got just about a minute left to go before Starliner comes out of its blackout period.
Ooh, that's a good view. Catch up. And tilt. Big Toe's drinking another beer so I can go pee on it when it crashes in my
view from the WB-57, one of NASA's aircraft that is at the landing site, has been staged and ready to pick a Starliner or pick up the view of Starliner as it comes in, and that is what we are seeing now.
All right.
And they're filming this video from about 16,000 feet.
Smoking a giant joint.
The WB-57 should continue to give us a view until the drogue parachutes.
Yeah, you can kind of see the streak. I don't know if you can
Cessna
pick that
is
up.
also in the area.
Yeah, there you go. It's still in one piece. That's good.
And flight controllers here in the room are reporting that we are out of that blackout period and everything is looking good. Starliner remaining nominal as she returns to Earth.
That's a girl? Okay. Actually, it's a ship, so
Again,
I guess
this is a view from
our
the
ships are
WB-57.
female, aren't they? Where's the 8-bit music? Boop, 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 boop.
Starliner showing a beautiful streak across the sky as she returns to White Sands, New Mexico.
How's that? Oh, yep.
Yep. There we go. How's that? Does that help? It's always a she. Yeah, I think, I guess that's a tradition or whatever.
The forward heat shield jettisoning is the next milestone we're looking for.
Starliner is currently about 27 miles above the Earth, and the team at White Sands reporting that they have seen it. We got a tally hole from them reported remotely.
Nice.
That means they are seeing Starliner from the ground there in New Mexico.
Hot stuff. The thing to remember here, folks, is even if this goes well, doesn't mean it would have necessarily gone well with people in it. One, because it was a completely different flight plan, completely different software version, oddly enough. And it obviously just would have been different.
This coming from the Cessna that's also in the area, picking up
just a little reminder.
Starliner now from its lower altitude, about 6,000 feet above, whereas the WB-57 is about 16,000 feet up. We are now just 6 minutes and 22 seconds away from landing.
6 minutes.
We should also just be a couple minutes away from the forward heat shield jettison, which will bring on the drogue parachute deploy, followed by the main parachutes.
Yeah, we're going to just see that fling or like flip away or what?
And the strobe lights on Starliner are now on.
Whoa. Nice fisheye. All right. I think that's the WB-57. Yeah. That's NASA's plane. The WB-57, that's like a classic nerd airplane because it's filmed so much space history.
Starliner is now over the landing site, and that strobe light will help the teams actually track Starliner on the ground because it is very dark out there.
I would love to hear the sonic boom.
Now about 12 miles above the landing site and just 5 minutes away from landing.
Your Honor, I peed on it. Judge, case dismissed. It's his. All right. My shoulder is just like someone is on that ratchet strap, just like going to fucking town. Ugh. It's not even like sitting here.
Forward heat shield jettison that should be coming up again, making way for the parachute deployment.
Cable. It's not like sitting here is affecting. I have figured out that sitting in here has nothing to do with my arm. Like my arm does not mind this chair.
All right. Ooh. And that action you're seeing on your screen.
Yep, drogies.
Forward heat shield and
there's
drogues
the
out.
heat shield.
Really interesting view of this coming down from the WB-57. See those two drogue parachutes now deployed. They slow the vehicle down
real life
initially until it gets to a safe speed for the enormous main parachutes to follow.
I can see my house from here.
About 4 minutes to go until
gigantic smoke sesh going on down there.
Now back to a view from the Cessna aircraft in the vicinity of the landing site. Again, this is a view from a little lower than the WB-57 we were seeing.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good view. I wonder what kind of cameras they're using. I would assume FLIR.
The next thing we're going to see here is the 3 main parachutes come out. And everything will happen pretty quickly from that point on.
Oh, that's the way it's going. Okay. Thank you, Clouds, for perspective.
After those mains are out, we'll see the bottom heat shield that has been protecting Starliner through its journey through the atmosphere come off. That makes way for the landing airbags to deploy.
There's a road, I guess. Oh.
And there's the main parachutes there on your screen. We see 3 out. Currently reefing.
I think their cameras are a little out of sync.
And the teams at the landing recovery teams report that they heard the booms.
The booms.
As those came out.
3 good mains fully open there.
We got good there.
You can see Starliner
comes back in for a quick hug.
We're going to see the
jellyfish
rotation handle move here shortly, and it will level out Starliner. But 3 good parachutes.
Handle thing is so weird.
Just a little over 2 minutes until the expected landing time, and we heard the rotational handle has been released. And you can see that tilt evened out.
Currently reefing even on the parachutes, or even the parachutes are smoking. Yeah, it's like, whoop.
And there it goes.
Hey, the
and again, makes way for the airbag inflation.
Yeah, it looks like
the airbag. You can see the airbags deploying there on your screen.
Yeah, that's all 6 of them.
Those airbags are filled with nitrogen as they guide Starliner safely back to the desert floor.
Ooh, where are you going, Zoom? All right. Whee! All right, well, so far so good. Doesn't look like anything will go too wrong. It does seem like it's, I don't know if it's going a whole lot of sideways or if that, oh no, okay, that was probably from the WB-57. So
Just
it's coming
a beautiful
down.
sight as Starliner makes its way to the sands of New Mexico.
Yeah, I was reefing a few minutes ago, too, yeah.
And flight controllers confirmed
Boeing
6
gas
good airbags.
bags are a go.
View still coming to us from the Cessna. We've got just about a minute left to go until the expected touchdown. I'll be watching for that time for you.
Oh, good. Now they can redesign the SIRS module. Figure out, I'm sure it was just another fucking valve on the RCS thruster. Maybe they can sort that out. We can do another test flight, and then maybe they can launch more people. By the time they get this sorted out, I don't know that they'll ever recoup any of the money that they spent on this before the ISS is just not available to accept Starliner anymore. I mean, sorry, SpaceX is booked for another 5 flights after Crew 9. They're already booked for 10, 11, for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Touchdown.
10, 11, 13, 14. Oh, and 50. 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15.
You're seeing the ground there in your screen as we get closer.
Well, I'm sorry, Boeing was booked for 10, but they're obviously getting bumped. That's now SpaceX. Not officially, but everyone knows that's just going to go to SpaceX. I voted good landing just to be kind. Did you vote good landing with error? Because they did have one error. Just one. Just one down there. So it was not a perfect nominal entry. But that's like we keep saying, that's why they have redundant stuff, and everybody has a little failure, but I can guarantee it was something in the fucking valve. Oh.
Touchdown. Starliner is back on Earth. That landing coming at 11:01 and 35 seconds Central Time, 10:01 and 31 seconds Mountain Time.
Well, I guess we might as well.
At the U.S. Army Missile Range in New Mexico. Our
Cheers for nobody getting hurt. Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm not congratulating nobody. Cheers for nobody getting hurt getting this thing home.
With no crew on board is that the team here in the flight control room will be the ones to command the parachute to be cut away so that the wind doesn't pull the capsule along. But
and if I'm not at work, we'll probably watch the Crew 9 launch as well.
With Starliner,
like I want to do more of the space streams like I did the last one.
To do items. Again, we saw Starliner touchdown
Assuming
at
I'm not working
11:01
anyway.
p.m. Central Time. That's 1 minute after midnight Eastern Time,
or
10:01 p.m. Central at the landing site in New Mexico.
Yeah, we'll see. If I'm not working, we'll watch Crew 9 launch. Or at least some of the docking. Like whatever footage I can try to get in there. That'll be in 2.5 weeks. Is that the little
This is a view from the Cessna, still watching the drones slowly make their own way down. Those, of course, are the drogue parachutes that preceded the main parachutes. First slowing Starliner down before the large parachutes opened.
Okay, well now the drogues are up for grabs. So if a drogue chute lands in your yard, you can pee on that.
Really just a flawless and beautiful descent of Starliner today. Even heard some cheers and clapping in the background.
Yeah, it's because everybody knows they got to keep their job. Phew. See you later, Admiral Rascals. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, it's serious souvenirs. These things are just chilling. I guess they got all that rigging weight on the bottom of them to keep them I guess, inflated was the proper term for that. Look at the roads, just hot as shit. It just reminds me of when the blimps came down in Maryland. That one the one satellite blimp that tore from its post not too far from here.
Parachutes still making their way to the ground after Starliner has touched down with its main parachutes. Touchdown at 11:01 p.m. Central Time. The team here in Mission Control will be working through some post-landing steps now.
So Starliner just landed. Everything went fairly well, except for one of the small RCS thrusters failed, but they had a redundant one, so everything was fine. Drogues deployed and are still, I guess, on their way down. Starliner just touched it. There it is. Still a little warm. So, they finally get to work on figuring out all the dumb shit they did.
Starliner at its landing site in White Sands at Space Harbor.
Show email.
Landing and recovery teams will soon begin making its way out to them to begin recovering the spacecraft. Team here in Mission Control is polling right now to see if everybody is ready to power off the vehicle. That again is a step that the flight control team has taken over with the lack of crew on board.
Seems to have gone well. Yes, Josh, that actually went fairly well.
Once the spacecraft is powered down, they will be transitioning control of the spacecraft over to the landing and recovery team.
I don't know how much of that was luck.
And it's a little difficult to see in this shot, but there is a strobe light on Starliner that will help the
Starliner touched down a couple minutes ago.
Out there.
Successful mission with one issue that we know of. They seemed as though they were being fairly transparent, so.
And the recovery team is on the move, but I think Leah Cheshire and Josh Barrett, our colleagues out there, may be able to give us one last update. Leah and Josh, can you hear us?
Great landing of Calypso. I don't think that could be a better birthday.
Obviously, we did have really a great show. We were able to see the cameras that you were watching too from the WB-57, from the Cessna, from the International Space Station. But
Leah, can I interrupt you?
Yes.
Concur. It's been a really amazing day.
We were hearing a bit from space to ground there, but I think they've concluded, unfortunately. We'll see if we can get a recording of that for folks listening at home. But Leah, go ahead with your update.
Thanks, Leah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Couldn't hear that one here. So, but here
comes MCTH here. Rick just wanted to offer that he's got one more hour here.
Thought that I was doomed and came to watch. Yeah, I was really worried there. Subsonic.
His birthday here.
Yeah, and that's what counts.
Big toe, even a blind squirrel gets the nut. Yep, that gets the occasional nut. Yep, I use that expression. But they still got some splaining to do.
You are the best. You are the best.
Thank you.
Sonny Williams there, offering a slightly early happy birthday to Flight Director Rick Hinfling. He will be celebrating his birthday on September 7th, but technically in Houston, we're still a little less than an hour away from that. They are, of course, already on September 7th at the International Space Station. But Leah, if you were still with us, we'll still take that update if you can give it to us.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we got to see the capsule and the plasma trail coming up over the mountains from the southwest, and we were all still standing outside the convoy to watch that happen.
Imagine if it was a Tesla, the bottom would be hot.
Hear the main parachutes being deployed. It was very faint, just a little bit of a rumble, but that strobe light really helped us identify Starliner as it was descending, and it would reflect a little bit up onto those parachutes. So we actually had a decent view as it was coming down under those chutes. And now we are actually on the drive out, and we can see the strobe light.
SpaceX does
great direction as we head toward the capsule.
Yeah, that's right. We are actually making our way down the former space shuttle runway.
I don't think those taillights were a Dodge. I think that was an F-150s, maybe 250s.
The southern end, so we see that strobe kind of in the distance there.
I think the 250s start with the crew cabs, or where the crew cabs come in.
Where Goal Team will move in and begin their assessments. And then once they declare that proximity operations can begin, the recovery ops will really get underway.
Gotcha.
And with that, I think we were going to toss it back to you, Brandy and Lauren. If you don't hear it from us again tonight, just wanted to say thanks for letting us be part of the broadcast and give you the perspective of all the hardworking ground teams, both NASA and Boeing, out here at White Sands in New Mexico. So with that, sending it back over to
looks like a UFO, says Lori. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Josh and Leah. It's great.
It almost looks like
home
arches on a platform. It almost looks like you can see through it, like underneath arches.
Starliner.
Like
Starliner has returned
that's
safely.
hollow,
Well
and
done
that's
to the
like a
entire team for
platform. It
completing the
almost
mission
looks like
with a
it's
successful
hollow
undocking,
weird.
deorbit, and landing. Starliner has once again proven herself a safe ride to and from space. On behalf of the entire Boeing team, welcome home, Calypso.
And with that, we will also wrap up our coverage tonight. We would like for you to stay tuned for our 12:30 a.m. post-landing news conference. That is 12:30 a.m. Central Time, so about an hour and a half, a little less than an hour and a half from now, when we'll be giving you final thoughts on the activities of the night. But Starliner is home again. The landing came at 11:01 p.m. Central Time. And with that, we will sign off. Thank you so much for following along with us. This is Mission Control Houston.
All right. Ooh, that's loud. All right, we're good. Jeez. All right, folks. That one went well for Boeing. It didn't go perfect, but you know what? It went well. I'll give them that. And that's why they do have redundant systems, and you know, SpaceX and other companies have had to rely on redundant systems as well. So, like I said, I'm glad it got home and got the fuck out of the way for a space company that actually gives a shit about what it's at least doing in space, whatever thing, you know. They've done this plenty of fucking times. So, I guess I'm gonna go get something to eat. Let's do one last one here. If you'd like to join in, we'll do one last one before I get out of here and then go fly my plane around probably. Let's see. Tomorrow I gotta mow the lawn, go to the dollar store, but the stream is later, so yeah, we're good. All right, cool. So anyway, cheers everybody. Real quick before I go. Oh god, I may have to make pancakes. We'll see. Oh, actually, we'll see what I got. I got a couple options. Anyway, all right, everybody. I am going to get ready to get on out of. Oh, J and MSY. Did I tell you I finally got around to listening to Zappa, all that? Like that was a good call. I got kind of stoned and just let some more Zappa play after I listened to the Easter. Was it something Easter Hay? I forget what it is, but every time I type in Easter Hay, it pops up. It's a good tune. It's a good tune. Appreciate the recommendation. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here, everybody. Appreciate all you nerds and geeks hanging out, doing our little space thing when we can. And I will try to do Crew 9 related stuff depending on the schedule and launch and timing and all that good stuff. So, I'll see everybody tomorrow in about 15 hours or 17 hours. And we'll go from there. So, appreciate it again. So you got, remember, tonight we got to watch that happen. And I will see everybody later. So I am out of here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.